What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Sunday, on this very, very chill Sunday. This is going to be a chill stream. Conan servers are down, but I wanted to keep the tradition alive of hanging out with Script Doctor every Sunday. We've been hanging out for every Sunday for quite a long time. So I'm like, we gotta keep this tradition alive. It doesn't matter if there's no servers.
Yeah.
Let's go live and talk about just random stuff.
We're connecting around.
Yeah, we're totally. I have no brain right now because I did a really massive workout. And like when you work out really hard and then you feel like you have no brain afterwards because you're like, I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't drink enough water or whatever. I definitely need more coconut water. I realized I need to get me more coconut water, but it's just been it was a really good workout. So I'm it was so much that my legs feel all when you have a really good workout in your legs and they feel all tingly.
Yes.
So
actually, this week was leg week for me because for myself this past month, I have been in so many meetings where I've had to sit down and talk with people. And I tried to stand at the desk and stuff. But when I don't own a camera, but my girlfriend has a webcam that I was using for these meetings at her place. And her desk is so low that if I stand up, you just see basically from my chest down to my waist. So I either had to sit down or I was trying to find books to stack the monitor up so I could be eye level. But I ended up just sitting down and I was putting on some weight from it. And I was like, oh man, I got up my workout. And so I did a bunch of leg stuff, and I know exactly the feeling you have. You have the tingling, it's not the numb, it's just tingling, and then the random twitches.
Yep.
And every once
right now for me, after I finished my workout and everything, I went I came home and I went to go upstairs to take a shower or whatever. And I came back downstairs to go get water and my legs barely worked going down the stairs. So I was like, oh my God, this is dangerous. Cause I was hanging on to the railing so I don't fall down because my legs were all wobbly. I'm like, oh my God.
Do you ever get that feeling when you've worked out too much that when you start to walk, it feels and Canadians will recognize this instantly. It feels like you have a bag of milk taped to your thigh and it just slushes around.
Yes, that's what was happening. And I was like, oh my God. When you're on a boat for a long time and you're it's just oh my God, I can't stand on land. Apparently that was me coming down the stairs. I was like, this is
you were walking like a newborn giraffe.
Yeah, I really was. It was so funny. And then it's just one of those things. And it's, I gotta get shout out to Nick Rekieta because he kind of I listened to his little fat shaming speech the other day. And it's not I'm fat. I don't technically need to lose weight. In fact, if anything, I need to gain weight because, I'm actually optimal weight for me, but I need to tone, so there's just there's always different things you can do. And there's a difference between being skinny and being whatever and being out of shape. Right. So I feel I'm somewhat out of shape because I sit a lot too. So I relate to what you're saying about sitting and blah, blah, blah. Because it takes a lot out of you when you're sitting at the desk all the time. And I've noticed that my posture has become worse, things like that. So I was listening to Nick the other night and he was giving this kind of not a speech, but he was just kind of fat shaming somebody. And then he went into this thing everybody needs motivation. Everybody needs something to be able to be okay, I'm going to get off my ass and I'm going to do this. And somehow that motivated me to be okay, well, I'm not fat, but I definitely do need to improve myself. I definitely need to get off my butt and, just do something do some ab work, do some weightlifting. Yeah. I'm getting older. I need to get fit. So yeah, I decided to do that.
No, that's good. It's what I like to do as well. I mean, the weird thing for me is that this is the first time since the pandemic kind of has been in the rear view mirror that I actually gained weight, but not any inches. And that's what kind of threw me off. Cause whenever times you put on weight a little bit, sometimes it's either on the waist or it's on your butt or whatever. And you've got an extra inch or two more than you thought. And I didn't have any of that because all my clothes still fit exactly like they were. It's just like, well, where did this 10 pounds come from? And it's like, I can't be pushing that. I'm just shy of 6 feet and I'm 200. That's I'm up to the line right
Yeah.
now for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the things. And so yeah, the other part too is also I've been this past week I've been doing twice as much as I normally do. Because when I go to California, it's going to be a lot hotter than it is in Canada. And the less mass I have on me is the faster I'll be able to cool down.
That is true. And I know that because I live in a very hot environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, you got to get off your butt. You got to exercise. It's just good for you in general. But you know what? It's also very challenging because, you know, while I was working out, I was just kind of like, oh man, I'm so unfit. So it's kind of like a battle, like in your own head, because you're like, oh, like in some exercises I do really well, and in some exercises I'm weaker, so I don't do as well. And then you kind of have like the predator mind in the back of your head going like, oh my God, you're so pathetic, like you loser, like what you're getting breathless off of this, you know, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's a constant kind of like battle of like, okay, no, I got to push through. This is like, you know, the second or third day of the workout. It's going to get better. It's going to improve. So it's just one of those things, and you just got to stick to it. And that's the plan now.
But if you're not failing, you're not working out. Like, that's the other part too, right? Like, even my girlfriend, she does very modest workouts. Like, she doesn't use anything more than 10 pounds. And I'm like, I get it, because, you know, she doesn't want to turn into some sort of man with any of the big muscle stuff. But at the same time, it's like, well, I am a man, so I have to lift weights that are too heavy for me, but not so much that I'm going to injure myself, but enough that I'm going to get exhausted quicker. So that when I do the sets over and over again, I'm actually, you know, breaking down muscles and then
you need to get to the point where you can lift her.
Oh, I can.
Oh, you can?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you should do. Is like,
she won't let me bench press her.
Really? No, she won't do it.
I did it a few times. It just freaks her out.
I think that is so sexy. Like when a dude like bench presses a chick. I think that is like one of the sexiest
she also doesn't
things ever.
She doesn't like to keep her body tense so that it's prone, right? Because that's the other part too. If she's just laying there like a rag doll, like everything bends when you're putting in sync, right? You got to hold yourself steady when you do that. But no, she thinks it's ridiculous.
It's hilarious.
It is funny though. I mean, she's a light woman. She's like 120 pounds, but she's 5'7". So like that's a really good weight for her height.
I like how 16-bit mascot says the Rip Doctor, because you actually have like a ripped.
I have a ripped
icon.
avatar. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, can you put that on? Because that's funny. There it is. Oh my God, it's got a necklace
Conan
now.
Stuff and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have the abs anymore because of the pandemic, but you know,
will.
Hopefully in the next few months, I might be able to be lucky enough to get it back. Yeah.
Oh my. Yes. Like Patrick Swayze. Exactly like Patrick Swayze.
I could never sport a mullet like Patrick Swayze. He was the king of that.
Aw, rest in peace. He was good. He was great. But yeah, so it's been a good day. I feel alive. I feel motivated right now because I'm like, yes, I worked out. I told myself I would, and I did it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's just one of those things where you're like before the workout, you're like, oh, I gotta work out.
Oh, you never want to do it. I still don't want to do it.
You never want to do it. It's so hard. That's what she said. But it's very difficult to like motivate yourself to get off your ass. And
but you know what is a great exercise, and it's quite fantastic, but I've learned this whenever I'm working on a production, whether it's an independent one or a smaller production house, or if I'm very lucky to work on like a television show or something, you're always moving around and you're always doing extra stuff, even for a writer, because you're always wanting to help. And yes, there are certain rules and regulations you have to abide by, but that active movement keeps you kind of pretty much in good shape. Plus the craft services are always usually pretty healthy. Like there's not a lot of junk food going on there. They don't buy, you know, McDonald's or anything of that nature unless
they need to like keep their actors looking good. They can't be like feeding them shit.
Yeah, like everybody's on good diets. Like you get nice rounded vegetables, you get really healthy like steak or beef or chicken, and sometimes you get a little bit of pasta depending on what type of day it is. Usually like once a week you'd get like some pasta, heavy carb stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, I miss those days because the craft stuff, it was also a good unifier. Like you work 6 hours straight, then you go for lunch for an hour, and then you come back and you work for another 6 hours.
Well, you know what? You know who told me actually like the food started like hard failing after a while, especially like when during the pandemic, was like Joseph Malazzi.
Yeah.
Because he was telling how like the new sets, and I've heard this from several different actors. I'm not gonna name names because I don't want to get them canceled. But they were like, especially like during the pandemic, like all the food just stopped being good, and like they just because they wouldn't even serve anybody anymore, so they would just be like bringing like sandwiches and shit, like
Oh yeah.
this stuff from
They
like
would have the
really shitty
pre-made stuff.
places. Yeah,
There's
the
some pre-made
pre-made
stuff
stuff.
on some of my on the sets that I visited where it's basically they didn't really hire craft services. They went to restaurants and had them make something locally, which is
Mm.
perfectly fine. But the
Mhm.
thing is that it's local, it's prepackaged, and beforehand it was kind of more like buffet style, but not really because there'd be someone there to portion it out for you and make your meal for you. And
Mhm.
the actors had their own certain of the actors had their own dietitians there that would be overseeing that with the caterers and food services, craft services, and whatnot. It was way more elaborate, but it was also really, really good. But during the peaks of the pandemic, it was like, here's your styrofoam container of the food that you have that we pre-prepped for you that may or may not be part of your dietary needs.
Mhm.
Or if there were certain restaurants or catering craft services teams that were not available because they were shut down, you then had a very limited supply, and it was whatever was willing to stay open or grease the wheels of health officials to stay open. And it's like, well, that's that's a little bit of a problem right then and there, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Speaking of health and working out, I've been seeing this everywhere, and I gotta say, this is impressive.
Oh, RFK
Friggin'
Jr.
RFK Jr. working out.
Let's go.
It's awesome. How many push-ups can you do, Script Doctor?
I can do 12.
How many did he just do? I didn't count.
I think that was close to 10.
That was pretty good.
That's a fit boy.
He's doing it in jeans.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
Let's go.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay,
Okay, he did 9, but he also had to
like
get on
8
his
and a
knees.
half.
Well, the other part too, he's also 70 years old.
He's 70 years old.
So-
There's also another one where he's lifting weights. That one was like even more impressive.
All right, yeah. No, it's good that he's staying in shape. I mean, I think if I lose another 20 pounds, I'll probably be able to do 20 push-ups because that's really what it is right now.
Oh my God. I don't know how many I can do. I can do the lady push-ups.
The ones on the knees, right?
Yeah. I can do like one man push-up, but several lady push-ups. Like, I actually haven't even tried doing a man push-up in a long time. I used to be able to do a few.
Well, do the practice, like just do it off the wall just to get your form down.
Right.
And
right.
then,
I
like,
should do that.
Then this walk your feet back further away from the edge of the wall so you're more on an incline, and then just keep doing that until you get really comfortable with it. And then you can do like maybe a handful of the normal ones, and then that's how you build up and you go shorter. There's Lila Hart's got a friend who's doing a push-up challenge on Twitter that she keeps sharing videos for, which I think is awesome.
Oh, I should check that out. I will do that.
Look at this, like Fitness Sundays with a
Oh, I love Lila. She's just such a fresh of breath air of like positivity and being awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, here is RFK lifting weights. This is awesome. Can you imagine this dude like debating Biden? Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
No, they'll never let that happen.
No.
Which is unfortunate because that would make for good politics, good TV.
Yep. It makes for like everything good. But that's like exactly what democracy is supposed to be like. Like you're supposed to let this dude, challenge.
Yeah, I mean, one that I've been listening to a lot of the town halls from all the other candidates that are out there. There's a few others on the Democratic side that we haven't even heard about. And yeah, one of the common things I think is fair is that they're saying like, yeah, the two-party system, that's fine all, but the party shouldn't be able to determine who the nominee is. The people should determine who the nominee is for that party.
I agree.
And yeah, I think that's fair. We kind of have the same thing to a varying degree here in Canada. Unfortunately, it's not 100% because the people don't always pick the party leader. The party picks their leader, and
oh, trust me, I know about that.
But the fun part about that is that if the party leader doesn't win their district, they don't have a seat, and therefore they have to no longer lead their party.
I really hate that Trudeau became party leader. I can tell you that much, right?
Me too. And I also hate the fact that he keeps winning in his district, even though he doesn't really live there anymore.
I know, it's really freaking annoying because it's like that's why most people like don't understand. Because I was like, yeah, I kind of voted for Trudeau, but it wasn't like I voted for Trudeau. I voted for the party because I liked the party's stance at the time, and most
it was
people
not
like,
fully corrupt yet.
Exactly. And then like everyone was like, oh no, you just voted for Trudeau because he's good looking, and I was like, I mean, at the time it like helped that he was good looking, but I actually cared about the issues, and I cared, and I like voted for the party. I didn't vote for Trudeau.
That's the thing. We don't actually vote for the person on that's the head of the party. You vote for the people that represents your district, and if that's a seat, that goes to the party, and then whatever part in parliament, whatever party has the most seats ends up being the majority of the government, and that happened to be Trudeau in this case, which is unfortunate.
Damn it, Frank.
Yeah. But speaking of elections, there's a mayoral election in the Greater Toronto Area happening tomorrow.
That is
you did
so
an awesome
exciting
interview with one of the candidates, which applaud you for that because that was a lot of fun.
That was so fun, and I totally had a bimbo moment, and it's fine. I forgive myself because I am a bimbo, so that's fine.
Oh, just a little geography snafu?
Just a little, just a tiny, very embarrassing geography snafu that I was like, oh shit. Like right when I said it. And then like afterwards, my husband was like, I can't believe you fucking said that. And I was like,
you did catch yourself.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I cannot believe I said that. Thank you. That actually means everything to me. But you're our bimbo. Yeah, but it was such a great interview, and I really hope he wins because even though I don't like politicians, I don't know. Chris, I feel like offers something. Like for me, I've been like so black-pilled, especially on like career politician people like Trudeau, who are like career politicians. I'm so very like just like what's the word?
Well, he actually like went down because before he became a politician, Trudeau was a drama teacher.
Yes.
And society has a little bit more respect. At least Canadian society has a little bit more respect for teachers than they do politicians.
Well, we used to. Now,
I mean, at least at that time, yeah.
Yeah. Now, not so much, especially because of all the other stuff that's happening, which we can't even talk about on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like Canadian teachers are not in the best light right now. But it's
not the contemporary generation. I see a lot of the older teachers getting really fed up, pushing back, and some of them are protected from certain tenure and legacy, and others have not been, which is also kind of tragic that they've been ousted, fired, forced to become tutors. Yeah.
And so many of them were like because of also the jab, like they were like, I'm not taking the jab, so they got fired or let go, and it's just crazy. Okay, let's address this. I feel like this is an important question. Is Trudeau really Castro's son, or is it's just a bad joke? What do you think?
It's a little bit trickier because there's the official visit that Trudeau and wife made to Cuba, which is happened after Trudeau was born. And then there's rumored ones that he made too before Trudeau was born. So it's hard to tell. I will say though, the appearance is uncanny. At the same time,
let's pull up a picture. Hold on.
Let's just put it this way. Pierre's wife didn't stay in one place very long while she was married to Pierre. She traveled a lot. She was a socialite. She was a wannabe celebrity. Who knows what she was doing?
Was a slut. Just say it, script doctor. Jesus Christ.
Who knows who or what she was doing around those times? Again, yes, it's just kind of weird. I will say the resemblance is pretty uncanny. And when you take a look at some of Trudeau's siblings, Justin's siblings, they look more like Pierre than he does.
Okay. is this picture like actually a real one, or is this photo? This has to be Photoshop because there's no way this is the real. Hang on, let me show it to you. Hold on. I'm trying to open it. God, I can't. Hold on. Open image in a new tab. There it is. Okay. This has to be a Photoshop. There's no way this is like young Fidel because this just looks way too much like him.
No, I think that's real.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, they have the same nose and everything.
Yep. Same nose, very close lips.
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's actually kind of nuts. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like, no, this is stupid. But then I see like this photo and I'm like, literally looks like the
bring up
same
one of
dude.
Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, hold on. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who was actually not a bad prime minister. Like,
he's well lauded in the annals of Canadian history. He helped get our Canadian Charter and Rights of Freedoms ratified, and Canada became far more independent under his leadership from the crown than ever before.
okay, to be fair, these guys also look alike. Like, like meaning like he could be his son. I see it. Like there's features. There's definitely features that they have that are similar, like facial structure, like around here. Even the nose is a little bit the same, but
Trudeau's is Justin's is a bit more bulbous, and his is a bit more pointy.
It also, Justin in this picture has more weight on him.
There's that, but notice the earlobes on Pierre Elliott.
Oh, that's true.
Justin Trudeau doesn't have earlobes.
No,
and
he doesn't.
That's a dominant gene.
That's true. What's the mom look like?
Who knows? Maybe he got weird piercings or something happened. Maybe it was the whole like Bond thing where he's like, oh, I got cosmetic surgery to make myself more handsome. I don't know.
What's the mom look like? I don't know what she looks like now, but this is definitely a picture that goes around to say that this was Trudeau.
Yeah, that's the official visit that made waves in history.
He looks exactly like him. It's weird.
Yep.
It's too weird. There's too many uncanny things. It's just like that dude, like Princess Di and like her.
Oh, her best friend with the ginger best friend of hers.
The ginger best friend
like
who everyone,
Harry.
who everyone thinks is Harry's dad, and it's like they look exactly the same, and you're like, oh my God, that's pretty uncanny.
Yeah, who knows?
There's here's another picture. Wait, what's his mom's name?
Oh crap.
Margaret Trudeau.
Yeah, Margaret Trudeau.
Okay, let's see what she looks like now. Ooh, and somebody else just popped in the back. Hang on, I'm looking up Margaret Trudeau. I don't know who you are, but hang in there. It's Teresa. Hi, Teresa.
Hey, I just saw that the link, and wow, saw you went online. I'm so happy to be here. We're talking about Trudeau, the bad Trudeau.
Yeah, we're just comparing pictures to see if Justin Trudeau's mom, maybe banged Fidel Castro and had a son, or
oh my God.
We're just trying to figure out like if
she has admitted that she has bipolar disorder.
Maybe that's
so
why
I don't
son's
empathize
so
with her, but
weird.
that does explain certain behaviors.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, if I'm going to step out on my husband, it's not going to be with someone that looks like Fidel Castro. Just saying.
Well, it's his politics that attracted her.
Ew.
Ooh, that's even worse.
I was gonna say
again. She was she was very much an attention-seeking woman, and when you marry a liberal prime minister, you're into that direction, and sometimes if that's not enough, you go to the extreme, and there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that beard. Ooh.
Here is another photo. Aw, this is actually kind of a sweet photo. I'm not gonna lie, because I mean it is his mom. Like they love each other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sweet.
Love each other a little too much. That's kind of a
Mind-
bit
Mind you, it's like I love you, son. You're such a psychopath, but I still love you because I have to. I'm your mom.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. Here's a question. If you were a parent and then you find out your kid murdered someone, do you still love them? Would you cover up for them?
Oh hell no.
Well, what's the context of the murder? Is it like premeditated, self-defense?
Okay, good question.
Yeah. Well, self-defense isn't murder.
Yeah,
well, if you
self-defense is
escalate it
killing,
beyond to the point, like if you subdue the person and they stopped being able to harm you, and then you go up to them and then kill them, that's actually not self-defense anymore.
Oh
That
yeah,
is-
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Let's say, yeah, definitely not self-defense. Let's say premeditated. Like your kid actually thought about killing somebody and then killed somebody.
I would probably be very disappointed, and they violated like the core principle of my own morals that I would have taught them. Because personally, I find that as cathartic as murder can be to an enemy and whatnot, it doesn't always solve the problem.
Sure.
So I'm a big proponent against that. However, like if someone did something to my kid, I wouldn't kill them right away. I would just torture them for as long as I possibly could, never letting them escape to the sanctity of death.
Oh my.
But that's just me if you harm my kid. But yeah, if my kid did that, they'd be like the ultimate betrayal for me. I don't know if I could.
So you would not only not cover up for them, you would disown their ass.
Oh yeah, immediately disown their ass, put them on a path to try and face punishment for their crime, and ideally be able to become reformed and reintegrate into society to never commit such a heinous act again. But it depends on how egregious it is. In Minecraft.
Yeah.
You never mess around in Minecraft.
No.
No, I mean, I definitely wouldn't cover up. I guess technically you wouldn't be able to help how you feel, because even people that have monsters as parents, there's always some part of you that still loves them, right or wrong. It's natural to that. But yes, anyone that would cover up for their kid, their child who committed a murder, no, that's messed up. It's like your little ass is going straight to the electric chair if need be. You know what I mean? Justice is justice.
Agreed. I mean, I would like to think that that's what would happen if I had a murderous child, but then the connection comes in, and then you're like, I don't know. I don't know if I can judge. I don't know. I definitely think I would look, because Jeffrey Dahmer's mom killed herself.
Well,
So I think I would probably kill myself too. I'd be like, you know what? I'm taking you and I'm taking myself out of this world. That's what probably would happen. That's like the suicide situation. Frank says
that's horrible. Yeah,
I know, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself. I'd be like, I produced this murderer, so I'm just gonna take you, and we're gonna just go, next time, better luck next time.
It got dark fast.
Reincarnation was something more positive.
Yeah, exactly. Frank, thank you for the $2. Says the apple doesn't fall from the top of the AK. Wow. There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry that got dark, but
well, that's okay. Yeah.
We were talking exercise, and all of a sudden it went
all
over to
of a sudden
if your child was a murderer.
I believe I blame Teresa because
I know it's all my fault.
It's just it's the thorns. You brought it out of me. I don't know.
I know. Well, look at the darkness and the light. That is actually deliberate. When the designer designed it for me, I wanted that, like on the bottom, the way there's light and darkness underneath.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, let's talk about something that I actually think is interesting that Script Doctor can probably comment on more than I could, because I hate math and I hate numbers, and Valiant, Renegade, and Script Doctor are good at this shit, and I'm not. But basically, from what I understand, though, is movies in the summer should be making a lot more money.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to Odin. Posted this from the weekend domestic chart of June 23. Look, there's a lot of look at the Flash.
Second weekend, yep, drops a third. 72% drop overall. I talked about this earlier this afternoon when I went live. So they did a Friday to Friday drop of 69%, which is not the lowest DC turnout in its history with the studio, but it's still pretty bad. The lowest is still Batman v Superman with 82% drop from Friday to Friday.
Ooh.
And that was back in 2016. But the Flash, very low numbers, didn't even break 100 million domestically. I think it's like 87 is the final domestic number. And yeah, this is pretty much what a lot of the people in my sphere expected. It was a Doom production from the get-go. If it wasn't pre-sold so early, ideally, if it wasn't delayed and didn't have all those hiccups prior to when Kevin Tsujihara was exited out of Warner Brothers and replaced with Alan Sarnoff, the movie would have already been canned, because studio heads, when they come in, if there's not any money on the table or they don't have to owe money back, they will kill a project because they like to clean the slate, wash it clean. And Zaslav has done that already with a number of productions that we never even heard about, where deals were circulating and whatnot. As soon as he came in, he wiped it all. He's like, nope, we're not doing that. We're figuring this out. And the only ones that he couldn't get rid of are the handful of films that were pre-sold. One of which was The Flash. It was pre-sold about 8 years ago internationally for distribution. I know it's silly to say, but that's actually the case.
That's so stupid.
And then
like,
Aquaman,
why would you do that?
Aquaman 2 was pre-sold when Alan Sarnoff took over. She was one of the ones that told Hamada to do this because it was one of the more successful of the films that came out prior to Kevin Tsujihara's exit. And then Blue Beetle.
Aquaman 2, you mean, or Aquaman 1?
No, Aquaman 1 did quite well on the box office.
Yeah, because Aquaman did really well. And
as a result, the studio was like, well, we're going to do a sequel, obviously, and made $1 billion. So, and that was already done. The stuff was in the works. So when Zaslav came in, they had already pre-sold it and done a significant amount of shooting, so he couldn't get rid of that film either if it was terrible.
I still would have gotten rid of it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you'd have to give the money you pre-sold back, and that money's already spent. So you're then basically taking out a loan to pay off another loan.
But isn't that kind of what they're doing now, though? Like, I mean, they're not making their money back. They
don't have to worry about it, really, because this has already been technically paid for. This entire thing was to sort of pay it back off.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But when Zaslav took over Warner Brothers, he had to create $3 billion in synergy to offset some of the initial debt, and he ended up clearing that and then some, which definitely won't factor into the finances here. But if he was a smart businessman, because he did turn Discovery into one of the most popular streaming and network and cable channels that there was. Like, everybody watches Discovery, everybody has to have it. It fed into the market, it knew how to grow. And the other part too is he was an axeman. If it didn't succeed to the numbers he wanted, he cut it. He cut it quick, and he went into a very new direction. What we're seeing here is the year where basically he knew he had to cut all this stuff and trash it, but because of the previous contracts and the money that's already spent, he's stuck with it. So he's got to weather it. But come late 2024, early 2025, these are all the projects that he has overseen and greenlit. And the ones that succeed, he will support. And the ones that fail, as soon as they've done their run, he's going to cut ties with them and move on, because that's the habit that he has. So it's basically just a waiting game. So this is going to be a pretty tough year for Warner Brothers. I think Dune Part 2 is the only possible success they're going to have in theaters, because they don't have Oppenheimer. They lost that due to the Killar and Toby Emmerich. Killar and Toby Emmerich kind of did the day and date thing with their streaming, with their movies, and they did that with Tenet. And as a result, Chris Nolan left along with Legendary with their contract with Warner Brothers, and they went over to Sony. So Oppenheimer is going to be a Sony film.
Oh, that's a Sony one.
And Dune Part 2 is going to probably be the biggest Warner Brothers films of this year. It's definitely not going to make up any of the financial losses that they've suffered with these movies that have been in production for 3+ years. For Aquaman, in the case of The Flash, almost 10. So those are doomed failures anyways. Just like with regards to Superman Returns, when that came out in 07 or 08 or 06, maybe around that time, the entire budget that was rolled into all the other Superman sequels in the 90s was added on by accounting to the budget of Superman Returns. So while that movie had a modest budget of around like 150 to 180 million dollars, all the money that was spent on hiring directors and screenwriters for the near 2 decades preceding that was factored in. So at the end of the day, Warner Brothers did not make their money back on the overall property, even though the registered budgets would say that it was a profitable film. And for some reason, they did not decide to do it again. They did not decide to do a sequel, which they would have been able to make probably equal to a little bit more amount with the same cast for a sequel, but they just didn't follow through with it. They decided to change course. And
Crazy.
put them on this terrible track.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh my God.
Because the
So
movie
many
that came out after
so many bad choices were made. Sorry, go ahead.
well, a lot of bad choices were made because after Superman Returns came out and it did decent well, but granted the critics' reviews were a little bit dicey because they wanted Superman to punch something. What ended up happening is you got Jonah Hex and then you got Green Lantern, and those two movies did terribly. And then you got Man of Steel, and Man of Steel did not do the numbers it needed to based on the budget. And then Kevin Tsujihara came into play, and he said, well, we like the actors, and it still had some decent numbers compared to like Iron Man and Captain America, which had already been further cemented their roles in the local zeitgeist. They're like, well, let's do a team up thing with Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. And they did. And the movie didn't break 900, didn't even get close to it got fairly close, but didn't get close enough to $1 billion or surpassing $1 billion as it should have been. It's like you got the 3 biggest names in Detective Comics history on screen for the first time, standing side by side, and you get 800 million plus on a $300+ million budget, or at least like a 280, but it was probably a little bit closer to 300, and it didn't make any money back. And then they'd already been shooting Justice League at that time, and Warner Brothers panicked, and they decided we're not going to make it a 2-parter. It's going to be a 1-part film. Zack Snyder suffered a tragedy.
Yeah, that sucked.
There's a number of executives that wanted him to take time off to grieve because a lot of his work had already been done, and he wanted to kind of lose himself in this work. And then there's another group that wanted their bonuses and decided we've got Joss Whedon, let's use that Avengers cred to carry over to our Justice League and get this movie rushed out. To heck with the politics and the optics, and it also didn't perform well. So it's and they just kept on betting on that same style and horse, trying to make it run. And now we are literally seeing the year of the culmination of all of these bad choices, just kind of focused into The Flash, and and the other part will be focused into Aquaman 2 will be bookended of the year. Blue Beetle has a potential to do pretty well because it looks like it's going to be a fun film. Mario Lopez plays the fool, the idiot, the guy that doesn't know anything of what he's talking about.
That guy's such a loser.
Exactly. Well, he's perfect for it then, because that's what he's playing in the movie. Right?
That's true.
So
I actually saw him in a really good movie recently too. The Menu.
Yeah.
He played himself. It was really good. Like he was like such an asshole.
Oh yeah, and that's also a dark, messed up movie.
It was a dark, messed up movie, but I liked it. I thought it was really good. I saw that, and I saw Triangle of Sadness, and they were both really messed up movies. But I liked The Menu better. I thought The Menu was very
The Menu is just making fun of like the elite society, like the elites within the elites type of thing, and like, oh, it'd be great to be murdered by this person. It's like what?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Latino Slant brings up a good point. I was thinking of John Leguizamo. Sorry.
Lopez wasn't in
George Lopez was. Yeah, George Lopez is.
I must be thinking of another dark.
Get your Latinos right, PJ. Fuck you, Latino Slant. How about that? How about you cash me outside? How about that? I'm just joking.
I pitched movies to George Lopez before.
Paul, you want to come on?
Never heard back.
Oh, you have? Aw.
Oh no, I pitched one that was great because it was making fun of border walls. It was the joke was that even though the United States puts up a border, Mexico puts one up too.
Oh my God. George Lopez was in a really funny episode of Community.
Yes.
Do you remember that episode? That was funny.
Well, no. Well, there's Luis Guzman was also in an episode of Community.
Yeah. Luis Guzman. Yeah.
George Lopez. Did George Lopez do one of the voices for the Christmas ones, or was he on a different group NBC sitcom, I'm guessing, because he was doing a
Wait.
bunch of little character stuff here and there.
Oh my god, I mixed up George Lopez with Luis Guzman. That is not the same person. I'm getting all my Latinos mixed up.
Luis Guzman is he's a very niche actor because he
is.
His voice, his own speech impediment in his voice and his appearance really limit what he's allowed to do. Because he's a short man with a weird face, but he was in Wednesday.
I haven't seen Wednesday.
He looks like Gomez Adams, but he just doesn't have the smooth voice that would be required for a Gomez Adams.
What have I seen George Lopez in? What do I know him from? I don't know
he's been in a number of sitcoms, and he's had his own sitcom. He's had his own talk show. I think he has a reality show with his daughter or an actress that's playing his daughter.
Everybody Google.
I'm doing that right now, Teresa. Like literally looking through like his like film list, trying to figure out what I know him from. Because I know he's funny. I just don't remember what I've seen him in.
He's here and there.
Oh my god, he was in Balls of Fury.
yes, he was in Balls of Fury.
That's such a good freaking movie.
That's the ping pong
There's
movie.
George Lopez's movie list. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these things. Like a lot of them I haven't seen.
No, him and Cedric the Entertainer were trying to work together for many, like 8 years ago. They were trying to do something together. That didn't pan out.
Show got picked for a second season. Latino slant. You definitely do look like George Lopez. No, I'm just joking. You look nothing alike. I'm getting myself canceled.
I was gonna say, well, it was really nice knowing you. Your channel's been great, Nina.
Nina, who lives in Mexico, thinks all Mexicans look alike.
Oh my god. I love Mexican people, and they don't all look alike at all. They look very different from one another, especially if you're Mayan or you're Mexican, like Spanish, like depending on your like ancestry, they all look very different. It's very funny. Because especially in Cancun, because you get like everyone from all of the different places in Mexico. Fuck, man. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. Following that line of thought, though, getting away from my racism, and talking about movie studios losing money, because we heard like earlier this week that Disney was losing like $900,000 or something like that.
$900
million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's way more than $900,000. $900 million. $900 million. That sounds like some sort of freaking ransom number.
it kind of is.
It's like holy shit. But now. And Gary tweeted this out. This is obviously from a while ago. Theaters are getting bailed out. What does it mean for the future? And then he said, thanks to the WGA strike, movie theaters are screwed. Remember when we bailed them out for Hollywood? So I guess that's my question to you, Script Doctor, especially because you were involved in this situation, is do you think there's going to be another bailout? Because, I mean, obviously the theaters are suffering right now. And okay, like going with the line of thought of what we just went through, like those numbers, I mean, they're terrible. And this is when the writers were still working. Now the writers are not working. Now there's no movies being made. Like so many projects are being put on the back
pretty
burner.
much on held or being axed through force majeure, which I'm really happy about because I'm seeing some stuff that's terrible being
gotten rid of, which is good. It's almost like it's cleaning house a little bit, which is what's
fine. Expected. And now this happened in 0708. There were some pretty terrible things going on behind the scenes there with some deals that the writer's strike was able to expunge. Hopefully the same will happen here, and hopefully it'll happen in far less time than what it took previously. But I understand what Gary's saying here is that it's the writer's strike fault, and then it's the writer's fault. But the thing is that the writers don't control what gets made. The studios do. And if the studios are picking the bad writers and the bad scripts, you want to blame the writer for that?
That's on them because they're picking the shitty writers.
They're picking the ones that will do what they want. which is usually not how it works. Like the creative and the business side has to be a symbiotic relationship, meaning that the studio execs have to realize, okay, we know that audiences like to be entertained, they like to be surprised, they like to be shown a new world that hopefully they can gain something from that world and bring it back with them to reality. Because that's how we do with stories. That's how we value them. And a good studio exec will do that. We'll have fun with the premise, and we'll find the writer that actually has either an original script or has a take on an assignment job that will achieve those things. And they'll always have a certain modicum of risk, but they're betting on the humanity of people. And what's been happening over the last decade is that they're taking the humanity out of it and just looking at it as a check by numbers. And you can't really blame the entire writing community or the entire WGA on that, because they're all competing against one another. What you can only do is blame the people that is picking it. It's basically like you're looking at a rigged game, where if you're seeing a race between 10 of the fastest people in the world, and all of a sudden there's this other person that comes in as the 11th and they can't run for crap. And even though everybody else crosses the finish line, they don't, the judges say, nope, that 11th person wins. Like, you as an audience member, you're like, that is BS. But Hollywood's like saying, nope, that 11th person, they're a new voice. They're underrepresented. They're in the minority. They are diverse. They're unique. They've got all these other traits that makes them special, and we should reward them for that, as opposed to the other 10 that have probably trained for 4 years for that one single race and placed very well compared to everybody else in the world. But the number 11th is going there. It's basically the judges have made their determination not on the merit of the players in the game, but on the superficial aspects of the people involved, because marketing has gotten very lazy. And that's kind of where this all stemmed from. People forgot how to sell original ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, yes.
And
because
what's safest to sell? That's if it's not an original idea, well, it's like, look at this person. It's the 30 under 30 phase. It's, look at this person who came from this difficult background, who lifted them up from their bootstraps and fought their way through here to get to this.
And it's always the first
Yes.
this,
Mhm.
first that. It's just like, oh my God. Like, speaking of, George Lopez, or like all these other dudes that are in this Latino movie, Blue Beetle. It's just like, let's show that this is the first Latino movie ever made with a Latino superhero. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
what's the movie about? Like, can we just see what the movie's about? Like, what? Like, the marketing for everything is just based on ideology. And I agree with you, the script doctor. I think that the movie studios, that's basically what they've been doing. They're like, we're going to hire you as a writer to write about our ideology. Our ideology is this. Make a movie around this ideology.
And on
it's
top
just,
of that,
that's it.
they don't want to pay top dollar for it, which is why it's so on the nose, in your face, boring ideology. Like, a great writer can take those points that they're given and weave them into the movie where you don't realize they're there until maybe your third or fourth watch.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's just how it is. Like, their entire journey is basically to make those ideologies the byproduct of whatever the story is. And first Latino superhero, Zorro. Well, Zorro is from Spain, and depending on where you are looking at that's either European or not. But
is he really a superhero?
No.
well, he fights for the people, but I mean, he doesn't go up against huge insurmountable odds. He actually just fights the government.
He's more like the Spanish version of Robin Hood. I've always thought like he was like the Spanish Robin Hood.
But he doesn't steal. At least I don't think of any stories where he does steal. I know there's stories where he
takes from the rich and gives to the poor, doesn't he?
Well,
that's
no.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood actually steals from the government because the government's stealing from the people.
Yeah, unjust taxes. Yeah,
unjust taxes. I thought that's what kind of like Zorro did too for a while.
Not really. He exposed the corruption, usually the people, and he fought for the people. He was always against, like in the Family Channel show, which is actually a great one. It's got Duncan Ruger, who you might want to search up because he's a Canadian.
Who am I looking at?
Duncan Ruger. He's a character actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in an episode of Star Trek. He was the Dracula in Monster Squad. He's done a whole bunch of character work, but he also played Zorro. He's this very tall.
Ruger.
Rhuger, I think it is. And
Can't find them.
Regehr. Sorry.
Oh wow. Okay, that is a
Yeah.
weird name.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a big guy. He's from Victoria, BC. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's kind of like more into his making art now.
Oh my god, he's Buddy from Star Trek.
Yes.
I know. I'm not making any sense right now.
He's also Shakar from like Deep Space Nine.
Yes, Shakar from Beast of Time. That's right. That's that's literally was. I was about to pull up the picture of him as a freaking Shakar of Deep Space Nine. I'm like, it's him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He played Zorro for 4 seasons, and it was a really fun Family Channel show.
You know, I never saw that version.
Oh, you got to check that out. That's
I was going to say girl, and yeah.
It's got Henry Darrow plays his father for the latter 3 seasons, and Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., who voiced Alfred on Batman the animated series, plays his father in the 1st season.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's got a great cast. It even has another Deep Space Nine guy who plays Martock. He comes in to play.
I love General Martock. What?
Yeah, he comes in to play the bad guy in later seasons.
Oh my god, I love General Martock. He's like one of my favorite characters ever.
This is definitely a show you gotta seek out, Nina, and watch because you will love it. It's a 22-minute Family Channel show from the early 90s.
Maybe this is what we should be watching and talking about.
Hey.
Oh, it's so good. It makes fun of so much stuff with regards to government. There's even a joke where the alcalde, who is the person in charge, is introducing this new idea of income tax, and everybody's like, "Well, that's the dumbest thing ever."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I want to watch this. Yeah, I watched Zorro, like the original, like the black and white,
the 1920s version.
Yeah,
and then the later one in the.
And
40s.
I've seen like obviously the Antonio Banderas one, but I never watched this version.
Oh,
Hey,
it's fantastic.
Stieg. What's up, Stieg?
Yeah.
Hey, Stieg. Hope you're doing well, sir.
It's been a minute since I've seen you. And also, Jim, thank you for becoming a member of the Infinity Channel. You have now access to Zombie Jonathan and Turtle Love emojis. Here's some Turtle Love for you, sir. Turtles. Turtle's doing it.
I'm surprised you don't have Dana Carvey from Master of Disguise in his turtle costume.
Oh my god, I don't know what you're even talking about.
Oh, more things to shed light on for you. Okay. So Dana Carvey tried to do his own Austin Powers.
Oh no.
Called Master of Disguise.
Wait, I heard about this.
Has Brent Spiner in it as the bad guy.
I think I saw this.
And
it wasn't great.
No, it's not great, but it has a couple of sight gags in there that are worthy of memeing.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did see this and I was like, this is so stupid.
It is really stupid.
So dumb. Oh boy. Turtle love, everybody. Turtle love.
Turtle bleh. I'm just not into turtles having sex.
Why?
How else are they supposed to propagate?
Well, they can have sex, but I don't have to, watch them, I guess. I mean, on your channel, that's fine. But, people that go around and watch them have sex all the time. I mean, what's up with that? Videotaping them like a bunch of creepers?
I don't watch them have sex all the time. I just think it's funny when they do it. It's funny.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying the people that take the videos, what the hell? Bunch of creepers.
I'm not gonna lie. If I actually saw turtles having sex, I'm busting up my phone. I'm like, holy shit, that's funny. Media advocate, thank you for the $5. Script Latino is everyone that speaks a language derived from Latin that includes Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Italian. So Zorro is Latino.
I guess so am I, because I can speak French.
There you go. Can you say something in French?
Qui est coupé le fromage?
Oh my god. You said something about cheese.
I said, who has cut the cheese?
Oh.
I heard fromage, and I was like, I remember that word from
Voilà la bibliothèque.
Je voudrais fromage blanc.
Voulez-vous
You like
coucher
the white chicken.
avec moi ce
Well, there's that
soir?
too. Je vous salue, Marie. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
just
am
know
rusty
that.
because I don't have to speak it too often. But if I know I'm going to like Quebec or France, I usually spend if I know at least 3 weeks ahead, I spend about those 3 weeks just brushing up to make sure I got it down. So I have a thick English accent, but at least don't get lost.
Steek says, thanks for Latin us. No, Timon.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
Well, I think we said earlier, it depends on how you're looking at it when you look at the term Latino. You know, there's an ethnic thing, there's a lingual thing, and
because I know Spanish people that are whiter than me, like really, really.
That's what I'm
white.
talking about in Mexico. There's like literally white Spanish
Blonde
people
hair,
walking
blue
around.
eyes.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, you're
Right.
Mexican? And they're like, yeah, but I'm from Spanish ancestry. I'm like,
Their family has been there for centuries.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sex on the beach used to be my favorite alcoholic drink,
it's very sweet though.
but it's too sweet for me now. I can't drink it anymore. It's like, ugh, like
Jake's.
Buy me a Coke, but I don't drink Coke. Holy shit. Okay, hold on.
Yes, but I think if I can find a way for you guys to stream it or find out where it's streaming, I think you would love that Zorro, because it's also got like great father-son relationship. It's got a great romance to it that runs throughout the whole series.
Oh, I'll find it script.
And like even the
Don't
head
you
of like the soldiers that are there to protect the town, he's not a bad guy. He's just stuck having to work for the government. And it's better that he's doing it than someone who is actually committed to the government's cause, because then the city of California, which is the place takes place in Spanish controlled California, it would be unbearable to live in if he stepped aside and someone more serious took his position. And Zorro is very, very fun. He's also got like a squire who is mute, who he views as a son. And he educates him, and he's considered part of the family. Oh, it's such a beautiful story that runs through the whole thing.
I love Zorro's like the story. It kind of reminds me of also like Don Quixote, but not like really. It's just like that.
Well, he's not crazy and obsessive.
Yeah, he's not crazy, but that relationship between Don Quixote and what's his name? My God,
his little sidekick,
his little buddy.
Oh,
yes,
crap.
on the donkey.
Yes, on the
Sancho.
Sancho,
yeah.
That's right.
I was going through the song "Man of La Mancha."
Oh, that's good.
Like, that relationship reminds me of like the relationship Zorro has with the other guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are such good stories. Why can't we have good stories like that now?
We
Well,
can't.
they're
They're
out there.
choosing not to.
Well, I'll equate it to you like this for everyone in the audience listening. So imagine that you're a studio head and you go out on the street, and your goal is to go to the bank and get some money, but you see a big pallet of bills just sitting there. And it's just right there for the taking. You can take it. No one's going to do anything to you if you do, but you don't, because you fear something bad will happen. So you go to the bank and get the money anyways. Basically, the bank is full of dirty money, and that there is basically the writers with talent being like, listen, we got ideas, we got stories, just come. We're right here. Just come take us. And instead they're going to the bank that's printing off, that's laundered dirty money because it's identity politics or whatever, tracking or numbers, paint by numbers thing is in there. And they're getting that because they know the bank is always going to have that money, but the stuff on the street's going to be taken and gone, or someone's going to try to claim it as theirs. And then you'll be in another fight. And that's basically the wrong mentality. There's so many writers out there that actually are talented, that are skilled, that are doing great work. Independently, just trying to get the financing needed to share an original story that, or at least a story that they think is original. You never know. So many stories overlap with themes and character types and whatnot that they can bleed together. But regardless, they're at least taking a risk on ideas and presenting something that feels like it's new. But they're the people that are currently employed there. They're young. They're going by numbers and not experience. And they're going with what they think is the safest bet to keep their job, because that's the only thing they have to worry about. They just have to worry about keeping their job.
Yeah.
Because again, you get fired quite quickly in the Hollywood system. Like, you screw up once, and as a studio exec, you're pretty much gone. However, you will get a job somewhere else, because even though you screwed up with them, you might succeed with someone else, either at a lower tier or a higher tier or an equal tier. The only person that took a long time who got fired from Disney, took a long time to kind of recover to a degree, was Peter Rice, and it wasn't even a very good deal. It's with like A24 and whatnot, and he can only bring projects to them. There's no guaranteed money unless they actually agree to greenlight one of the projects he brings. So yeah, and it took him over almost a year to land that job, as opposed to other people like, for instance, James Gunn, who the very week he was fired from Disney, Warner Brothers snatched him up.
Okay, so Darren found Zorro on YouTube.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. I have now bookmarked this situation.
You'll love it, Nina. It's really good.
It is.
I'm gonna definitely check this out. Wait, I need to bookmark this situation. How do you add this shit to the bookmarks? Okay, wait.
You got to go to like the
save. There it is.
The save, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Saving it to my playlists.
So yeah, that's season 1 right there.
And how many seasons is it?
4.
Oh, okay. I'll have to find the other ones. And then Steve was saying that we need to watch Allo Allo, which I've heard about, and it's been on my list.
Yes, it's hilarious.
For a long time. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But I want to.
It's an old BBC series, right? A comedy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
It's very politically incorrect, because based around the Nazi occupation in France and the French resistance, and it's this little French cafe, and yeah, they've got a whole bunch of Yahtzees characters in it. It's very politically incorrect.
That sounds like something I definitely want to watch.
Oh yeah, I like making fun of the politically incorrect.
That's the one where that guy's like, "Are we the baddies?" That's that show, I think. It's like GIF with that.
I mean, guy. There's like the Yahtzee who's in the closet. I mean, there's also actually it's really awful. All these
I think it's that show. Is that with that GIF? Like it's a famous GIF where that guy's like, "Are we the baddies?" That.
And then there's a
yes, that is the one.
Yes, and they've got the Gestapo. Everyone's afraid of the Gestapo. Even the it's awful. Even the other Yahtzees are afraid of him. So it's just a farce, and it's like they all got drunk and just wrote this amazing crap and just laughed for 8 years. It was great.
That sounds really good.
Yeah,
I definitely want to watch this. Okay, but you watched something else raunchy, Script Doctor.
Yeah.
It's not porn, guys. Calm down.
No, but there's a full frontal
pill.
nudity scene in it, and
wait.
Yeah, I saw No Hard Feelings. My girlfriend wanted to see a comedy after seeing Bert Kreischer's The Machine last week with her dad, and then taking me to see it afterwards, which I thought was okay.
What movie?
It's called The Machine. It's got Bert Kreischer. It's based off a stand-up comic who he was the inspiration for Ryan Reynolds' Van Wilder character.
Oh, I like Van Wilder.
So yeah, he was a very.
Oh, that's the one with Mark Hamill.
Yes, it's the one with Mark Hamill. Where
was that good?
It's not bad. It has some better comedic moments in that movie than in No Hard Feelings, but it is really about fathers and sons and daughters just trying to be a good parent, have a good parent-child relationship, and how it's very difficult to do. And there's problems you have to go for. But it's based on this real story where when he was in college at Florida, and it took him 7 years to graduate. And one of the courses he took was Russian. They didn't know how to speak Russian or do anything Russian. But the teacher needed him to stay in the class so that she could keep on teaching it, because she needed a minimum number of students. What ended up happening is that as part of the conclusion of their class is they went on a field trip to Russia. And this was at a point in time when Russia was controlled entirely by various different mobs. And he tells this story where he basically was so well liked by the Russians because he was trying to introduce himself that he's this really cool guy, but he froze up and said that he's the machine. And they laughed at him. Because essentially he called himself a car from their understanding of the dialect. But they laughed at him. They drank with him. They had a great time with him. And he ended up becoming like an honorary member of the Russian mob.
Oh my god.
And he
I
went on a couple of crazy adventures, but this movie takes place now where one of the people that he happened to have robbed has identified him, and now they want what he stole back. And it takes him on basically a trip back to Russia, and his father's involved. And it's a road trip type movie. It's got a woman in the character who is the trope of the strong female woman, but she's messed up in the head. And that's why you actually kind of like her, because she's got a lot of problems.
Oh my
like
god.
a lot of problems, and it's all and she's made fun of for those problems.
I definitely like when I saw the trailer for The Machine, I was like interested, but I was also not interested because Mark Hamill was in it. And I was like,
Mark Hamill does a pretty good job, but he's not in it a whole lot.
Thank God.
But like he has chemistry with Bert and back and forth. Like you can tell that these two guys have history.
So it's not like woke and weird.
No, it actually makes fun of woke a couple of times, especially like how
Mark Hamill
woke hasn't.
is so woke now. Like it's like, like I just cannot stand him anymore. So I mean, it's good that he's kind of like stepping back and like focusing on.
Mark Hamill goes wherever the water takes him, as many actors do, which is unfortunate. But no, there's a joke where they're in Russia. And they basically, and Bert Kreischer realizes, oh, I see woke hasn't made its way over here.
That is true. It hasn't, because they hate woke.
There is this kind of, I won't spoil the movie, but I will say, I think you can get it on video on demand right now or cheap rental. I would say check it out because it's very different from the other comedies you'll see. It's very different from this type of comedy, which is No Hard Feelings, where it doesn't have a lot of focus. The story is basically Jennifer Lawrence is going to lose her house, her car. She hasn't made payments on her car, and property taxes are eating away at her. And so they take her car, and she's also an Uber driver. Like she works at a bar, but she's also an Uber driver. And she needs that money. She's a
hot mess.
Yeah, she's a hot mess, and she needs that money to pay off property taxes so that she can hold on to the house that her mother has. That she's lived at her entire life in Martock, New York. And because she can't find a car and she's running out of money, she finds the Matthew Broderick on Craigslist who wants to hire a woman, a woman slightly older than his son, to date him and just kind of break him out of his shell and make him a man, because he and his wife have failed as parents to do that. And the only reason they pick her is because no young woman worth their salt would actually do what they're asking for.
Nobody probably responded to the ad, right? Because everybody has
she was the only one, and so
self-respect.
So they pick her, and she's just trying to do it. And it's a very weak type of romantic comedy, but it's all about like making friendships and having these two characters interact with each other. There's a full frontal nudity scene of Jennifer Lawrence in a non-sexual way.
Oh my!
But let's just say she's the type of woman that needs a bra to do a lot of work. So like, if you're looking for the goods, I'm sorry, they're not really there.
I've seen goods.
Yeah.
I saw Jennifer Lawrence's goods when her nudes got leaked.
Oh, I remember seeing them in this Russian film that she did, or this Russian spy film that she did.
Oh, like I saw them too then, because I saw that movie. I think
I was like, oh, that's. I feel sorry for you, J-Law.
It's like
you don't have
Sparrow,
right? You're the woman with the worst pair of boobs, I guess. If you want to.
Yeah, she doesn't have great boobs. I mean,
no.
To be fair, she's just flat. Like some women are just flat.
The funny thing is, my girlfriend saw that and she's like, she needs to do some chest exercises.
Ow!
Like that's the first thing she said out of her.
That's literally what I was doing today, Script Doctor. I was like, I ain't getting Jennifer Lawrence tits. I can tell you that much right now.
I mean, it's not to buy. It's just like, this is a thing that I learned from my sister. I learned from past women that I've dated, is that they like to exercise their chest area to be firm and get some shape.
Yes.
And true. When you don't do that, you get J-Law breasts.
Okay. Yeah. Red Sparrow. That movie sucked.
Yeah. It was not very good.
I saw that. I remember because she was coming off like the height of
Hunger Games and X-Men.
Hunger Games. Yeah, and I was like, ooh, this movie looks great. This movie derailed her career. Like, it was so freaking bad that she just dropped off after this. And then I think after this, she did Silver Linings.
Yeah, she did Silver Linings Playbook, which
was good.
It was good. It was kind of weird that she's grieving her husband, and so she's sleeping with every single guy that her husband knew. I'm like,
she was a train wreck.
Yeah, that's a big train wreck. But this one here, she plays the comedy fairly well. Comedy is few and far between. The young man that she's playing opposite of is really good. He kind of shines. Matthew Broderick. Matthew Broderick's only in for a handful of scenes, but he's also very good in it as well.
Actually, I have a funny scene from this. Hang on, we can play this.
Go for it. Yeah.
As you're talking, because it's not a funny scene from the movie, but I like what the guy said. I actually sent this to Toxic Femme for tomorrow, but we can play it now. And it was just like, it's just funny because it's her interview with him, and he just like talks about like how old he was when Hunger Games came out, and she's like, fuck you. She's just like, go fuck yourself, dude. It's just funny because women get older and we're all like, fuck you to everybody else.
Her new movie, No Hard Feelings.
Wait, let me fast forward.
There should have been somebody like that on set.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey. After you wrap something you're like that, you're like, are we going to be okay?
Was there ever a time where it's like, okay, this is really funny, but can we do this?
Also, I actually really like interviews like this with actors and actresses now, because basically what happened was she stuck to the plot of the movie. Like, she wasn't like, oh yeah, like I was like the first woman to ever do like a rom-com, and like it was like the best thing ever. Like, it's just like she just talked about the movie, and it's just like, oh, this is funny. Like, this is a good promo. Like,
I mean, the interviewer was actually keeping the actor on topic.
Yes, yes. It wasn't like,
I missed that, don't you?
Yeah, it was like, oh, can you comment about how feminism is ruining everything, or like how feminism works in this movie? It's like, no, she's just asking her like, what'd you do? Like, you did nudes. Like, how did that go? You know, like that
should have been somebody like that on set, but there wasn't.
Do we like the sunglasses, or should I? Not
okay, great. In the film, Jennifer answers an ad to seduce an awkward teen played by Andrew Barth Feldman. The goal?
He looks
turn
funny.
This virgin geek into a man.
Yeah, he is.
What about sharks?
Man here. You both did, have nude scenes. So how did you prepare for that?
I don't know. It didn't really feel like a big deal to me.
No.
It didn't feel like a big deal to you, Jennifer, because you've already been exposed like on fucking line. You've done it forever.
She's done it a couple of times, yeah. And the other part too is this is kind of the weirdest thing with some actors. The advice I give is when you're starting out as you're a young female actor, don't do anything independent or that requires nudity unless there's a lot of money involved.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yes.
Number two,
or you're gonna end up like ScarJo, and you're gonna regret your entire life. You're gonna be like, oh.
Well, the other part too is that once you do get to the point where you can name your price and you're actually kind of a name and you want to do nudity, go for it, because as what I've heard from Andie MacDowell and other older actresses that regret not doing it when they're younger is that they would like to go back and see that body again.
Oh.
And it's like, sure, you're exposing yourself to the world, but at the same time, it's like you're more in control of it, especially nowadays with the, not so much nowadays, but over the last like 8 years or so, when women would be doing nude roles on set, they were pretty much in control of what's going on that set.
Right.
The whole idea with the sexual consultant stuff that they're bringing there was kind of redundant, because if the director and the team, they know what's going on. It's like, okay, whatever's going to make the actors that are exposing themselves comfortable, we are going to do, because that's basically it. That was
because they want a good scene. Like, you don't want a scene where you're supposed to have passionate lovemaking and the girl's going like she's like cringing shit. You're like,
and so many of those ones there, if the actor is married or in a committed relationship, they'll bring in their significant other to be the hands or whatever for the inserts for the stuff that they're doing, so that the actual actor doesn't have to do that. Because most of the time, as weird as it sounds, a lot of the men actors that are in those scenes, they don't really want to be groping the other actor.
I mean, it's weird. Like, you're like, okay, like it's just, this is part of our job. We have to do this. Like, it's awkward. It's
I am glad I've yet to be on a set that requires that, and I also don't want to be on a set that requires that.
Okay, let's hear this.
Who's gonna do it?
We had intimacy coordinators. We had a ton. The set was closed. Like, it was as safe and professional as it could possibly be.
And this really blew J-Law's mind. It's been more than 10 years since her first Hunger Games movie.
She's so young.
Thank you for your consideration.
I remember shooting the first one, and like I was 21, and we were like waiting to do it. And I thought about this moment. I was like, it's so crazy that like one day I'll be like an old lady, and these films will be 10 years old.
I've steered pretty far away from ever saying how old I was when the Hunger Games came out.
Were you not born?
I was born.
I'm that bad at math.
you
I'm
like
are you
9,
10?
were you 9, 8?
I was probably 10. Yeah.
Oh my
She's like
Like,
throwing up.
yeah.
Like, oh no.
Physically painful.
Like that was actually not acting. She's not that good of an actress. Like,
No.
that was a good face because I don't think that's like I think that's very natural reaction. You can tell she's just like, oh fuck me.
Oh,
Yeah, but you still
I'm
want to like
sorry.
punch a hole through
Yeah, I
a
really
wall,
wanna
right?
fight you
Yeah.
right now. I really do.
Sorry.
That was fun. I like those styles of interviews that past to like actually just hear about actors talk about the movie or like something funny or like whatever. And it's just like now it's all, can you talk about the message? And you're like,
I will say one thing. Jennifer Lawrence has to kind of shed the Hollywood zeitgeist that 30 is old.
agreed.
Because
Agreed.
here's the thing that's kind of really funny and actually a good advantage for writers like myself and even some directors that are in my group is that there's a lot of us that want to work with actors that were very much hits when in their 20s, like 10, 15 years ago, that are not getting work now. That's like, they'll do it. And
Mhm.
having their names will actually help finance the films. But the other part too is that we just want to work them because they're good actors that should be getting more work. Like
Mhm.
Diane Lane right now should be getting a lot more work than she is, but she's kind of in that weird zone.
Who's Diane Lane? me see.
Diane Lane,
Oh, her.
Lone for
Okay.
Love.
she's been in a number of like romantic films, dramas, comedies. She's a very good, serious actress.
She's the Man of Steel.
Yeah, she played
Mom.
Martha Kent in Man of Steel.
Yeah, her.
She needs some more work, and there's a lot of fun roles that she could do that unfortunately are not. A lot of people aren't thinking that. Oh, wait, they could be really, really good for this.
You know, I watched a really good movie with her in it. Speaking of rom-coms, and it's like one of my favorite movies that she's ever done. It's called Under the Tuscan Sun. It's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
good movie.
Yep.
It's like one of those like feel good movies. Like if you just want a feel good romantic comedy with beautiful scenery and stuff, that's a good one. Under
Yeah.
the Tuscan Sun. That's
So,
That's a really good
Yeah,
one.
I mean that's one of the things that when the rest of Hollywood realizes that they could get some amazing female talent that
Mhm.
should be working but isn't. Yeah, you'll have another resurgence of any type of genre, whether it's romantic comedy or thriller or drama.
Mhm.
They will do it because, as Carrie Fisher said many years ago, before she passed away, when George Lucas offered her to come back as Princess Leia, she says, "Yes, I'll do it." And when Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, like, we didn't even negotiate, she says, "I'm over 50. They asked me to do something. You say yes." And yeah, like you don't have to care about negotiating. It's about the love of the work, and then obviously you want to get them the money that's that they're worth as well at the same time.
I gotta say, like, even though J Law, she's lame sometimes or whatever.
She has bad friends too.
Yeah.
she's friends with Amy Schumer. That's a bad friend.
She's terrible. I mean, Amy Schumer's trying to tank Barbie already, which is kind of funny.
Well, her
she's
efforts
all-
are actually going to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I
I
know,
want to
but
see it now.
It's just really funny because she's all, oh, like I feel like Barbie is putting out like such a feminist message just so like she can turn people off from watching it. And I was just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like nobody cares what you have to say. And we're all really glad you weren't chosen as Barbie.
Yes.
Right.
But like it's just I will say this, like even though J Law, she can be a little weird. I miss rom-coms. So I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of glad that she did this because I'm like, rom-coms
This might
need to come
be
back.
this might be something you'll enjoy for a rom-com.
I think I will because I like rom-coms and I like just random comedies. Like I said, I feel like comedies have been just suffering hard. Like there's no funny movies anymore. It's just everything has just been, I don't know, not good. Like,
Well,
really.
again, they're very hard to travel internationally, and that's the main market, right? Because comedies are very dependent on the language of, and the
That's
Western
true.
market is dominated by English mostly,
That's true.
and sometimes the idioms don't translate.
Don't translate.
So-
Yeah. But I did okay, so I did recently watch a really, really good movie though, and it's not a rom-com. Teresa, I highly recommend you watch this movie. You are gonna thank me, girl, if you haven't seen it already. Extraction 2.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
Chris
I have
Hemsworth.
not. Let me.
Girl.
It's on
Girl.
Netflix right now. Yeah.
Yes, you'll thank me later. Trust me, Teresa. You'll be like, oh God.
Does it have Mr. Darcy naked or something?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's okay. It's Chris Hemsworth, the dude that plays Thor.
Ooh.
And he is just fire. Like he's just like, oh my God. Like there's this one scene. It's like I don't even want to say. I'm gonna say it just because I want to like hype you up. There's just one scene where he's rescuing a girl against like a crowd of people. And like that scene alone is so perfect because you're just like women want to watch a scene like that because every woman wants to be the one getting rescued.
I was about ready to say, I'm looking at pictures here and I'm like, oh my
You're like,
gosh.
I want to be rescued by this dude.
Yeah.
But at the
Thor needs to
same
rescue me.
time, the dude wants to be the one that's rescuing the girl. Like that's every dude wants to be him. Every woman wants to be her. And it's
Damn
that
right.
scene is just done so well because you're like, and the woman in the scene is like, she's doing things too, but she's not, it's not unrealistic. Like the things that she does is not unrealistic. And you're like, oh my God, like I can see myself. Like I'd be like, I'll be a scrappy bitch just like her. Like I'd be like, motherfucker, come get me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're not like, oh, she's taking down like 200-pound guys. It's not realistic, you know? It's just, it's really, really good. Like the way that scene was designed is, it's just, it hits all the hormones, Teresa. You're like,
Oh,
yeah.
I was about ready to say, sign me up. Sign me
Yeah,
up.
girl.
You sold me.
Yeah, girl. It's really good. It's really good. I highly recommend it. Script Doctor. You got to watch it with your girl. Movie night.
You'll get lucky.
I'm telling you.
I don't need a movie for that.
I mean, you're still gonna get lucky because it's just gonna put the hormones out there. You're gonna be like, okay,
It's like, rescue me, please.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go play some games in the bedroom. Oh, Script Doctor, won't you rescue me? Well, she knows your name. Liza T. It says Extraction 2 are both great watches. Exactly. That's really good. Like I mean, it's just you don't hear about good movies every day anymore. And I was just like, oh my God, this was good. Both are great. That one scene, man, I'm still like, oh, no, unfortunately, it's not Mr. Darcy naked. I mean, I would like to see Chris Hemsworth naked in the right setting.
Yeah. Are you listening, Chris Hemsworth?
But it's not like, I mean, like, I'm not complaining about like Thor being, objectified or whatever. It's just weird when it's in a kid's movie.
Flip too hard, damn it!
Like, when it's in a rated R movie, like in that kind of setting, it's like, can we have naked?
You can get away with comedy butts in PG-13.
Sure,
because you're looking at, remember, 13 and older is the guided aspect of it. And again, the other part too, and this is something that we learned, even though we don't like to do it, is that buttocks are funny. Like if you present them in a funny manner, they're funny.
That's true. Butt is funny. That's
butt
true.
is funny. If you see a person that gets in trouble and is running away,
getting kicked in the butt,
yeah. Or if someone is, you get the prank in the teen comedies where someone gets their pants dropped. All you see is their butt, like the bare ass butt, and they're just running away. You're not seeing any of the goods. You're just seeing the silly butt stuff. That is always known as like comedy. But again, the caveat is that you don't do that in children's work. You do that in like PG-13 and above and whatnot.
Sure. I mean,
Like-
I don't know what rating Thor was. I don't know. It just
I
didn't
think it was
feel right.
PG. Yeah,
I don't. They
might have been PG-13.
They might be PG. Yeah, because I think because of the violence, even though it's kind
Mhm.
of cartoon violence.
It's like I'm thinking of the scene in like So I Married an Axe Murder, where Michael Myers comes in and he hugs his wife, and then his towel drops and you see his bare butt, and like that's the joke. Is
It's
Mhm.
Michael's butt.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Mhm.
Well, this has been a fascinating conversation, you guys.
and to bring it back to exercise, work on your glutes, folks.
Work on your glutes. That's what
Glutes.
I did today.
Yeah.
My
Pilates
glutes are
is
dying.
Amazing for it. Works on your
Yes.
butt, your core, and your thighs.
Get that shit done. Watch Zorro. You guys, I am going to head out to Simpcast, Chrissy Mayer's channel. So I am actually late. I told them I would come on, but I am very late. So I am going to put the link right now in the chat. Everybody go over to Simpcast. Because I'm going over there. Looks like Mandy Summers is there. Keanu's there. A bunch of other awesome ladies are there. So let's all go there and hang out. But before I leave, I want to give a massive thank you to Braz Monkey for gifting 5 memberships to the chat. And for everybody who became a member, super chatted, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. That means everything. And of course, my beautiful panelists, Script Doctor and Miss Teresa Martin, which I mean, I'm assuming they're beautiful. Like, their avatars.
My girlfriend has not said I'm handsome though.
Oh no.
She said I'm hot, but not handsome.
Oh, dear.
Oh my. Okay.
Well,
Well,
it's better to be hot, I guess. But yeah, well.
But I can cool down. That's the problem with age.
well, anyways, Script Doctor, tell everyone where they can find you and what you got coming up next before we call it.
Well, I'm working on some new articles to be posting on my Patreon this week and for next month. But you can find me on Twitter at ScriptDoctorPhD and on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/ScriptDoctor, where I'll be doing some live shows here and there every once in a while, trying to figure out the new schedule. And then, of course, when the Conan servers return, we'll be playing some more Conan.
I'm very annoyed about today not happening because I was excited to check out the new updates.
Yeah.
I saw Jane posting that there's like stars and shit now. I was like, this looks cool.
That is cool.
I want to see this.
Well,
but
we'll have to wait.
I'll have to wait till next week. So we will be back to play some video games next week. I think this is right. Handsome's too formal for today's world. That's true. That's a little true. I don't call my husband handsome every day either. Like handsome,
I just want it once.
It's just one of those once. But it just handsome is one of those things where like it happens when like the dude's like fully dressed up. Like you got to be like in a suit and tie and like you got to clean up to be like, oh my God, you look so handsome. Like, it's just, you're not going to get that every day,
No, I just wanted it once.
Well, maybe she'll do it for your birthday. That would be a nice birthday present.
Yeah, she should write "Happy Birthday, Handsome" on your birthday cake.
Oh,
I just look at her and be like, "You forgot my name, didn't you?"
That's funny. Teresa, tell everyone where they can find you and what you got coming up next.
Okay, well, you can find me here on Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Tomorrow night, we've got some more pub crawl with Laredo Creole. We're finishing up our book stream that we've been doing for 2 years. We're finishing up with Magician Master, and I am in the final stretch. I am not jinxing it by saying how many hours I need, but I just a teensy lit to get me over the edge. I'm almost there to get monetized, so I'm looking within a week if I keep up on this trajectory. Yes,
Go
please.
to Teresa's channel and watch her playlists. Everybody, let's get her monetized.
Thank you.
We need this to go down. That's what she said. Okay, hang on.
Everyone loves a happy ending.
That is what she said. Yeah.
That is definitely what she said. Oh my goodness. Ms. Martin Muses, I'm getting your channel. Everybody. Yeah. rock your body. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh,
Okay, Teresa, you already put your channel.
I already
in the
put it. I was
chat.
about to say I'm just after putting it in, but thank you. I do.
Oh,
appreciate
God
that.
damn it, Teresa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have said so. I was
That's
like,
okay. Please, everybody, go and check out Teresa's channel. Let's get her to that next level. We need your help. So let's do that. And yeah, so everybody go to Chrissy Mayers, and I will see you guys there. Thank you again, everybody, for coming to hang out. We will be back again very soon. Catch me tomorrow on Midnight's Edge for Toxic Femme. Maybe Script Doctor will be there.
Maybe.
See you guys later.
okay.
Bye.
Good night.